Hello everyone, welcome back to Code with Akshi. Today, the day 9 Python list. So, what if you want to store the names of 5 fruits in a Python? Would you create 5 different variables? Well, there's much easier way. Welcome to day 9 of a Python learning journey. Today we are going to learn about one of the most useful concepts in Python, that is list. With list we can store multiple values in a single variable and easily access, add, remove or change them. By the end of this video, you will understand how Python list works and how we can use them in real life programs. So now let's get started. First, what exactly is a list? A list is a collection of multiple items that is stored inside a single variable. For example, here we have a variable called fruits which stores apple, banana and mango. Instead of creating 3 separate variables, we can keep all the 3 values together in one list. So in Python we create a list using a square brackets and each item is separated by comma. So lists are ordered, which means every item has a specific positions. There are also changeable and they can contain duplicate values. A list can even store different types of data. Now let's see how to create a list in Python. Here I am creating a variable called fruits inside square brackets and I am adding apple, banana and mango. So when I print the fruits variable, Python displays the complete list. We can also create a list of numbers. Here the numbers list contains a value 1 through 5. So remember, the items inside a list are separated using commas and list can contain as many items as we need. Once we create a list, how do we access a specific item? For that, we use an index. One important thing is to be remembered is that Python indexing starts from 0, not 1. So, in our fruits list, apple is at index 0, banana is at index 1 and mango is at index 2. So, if I write fruits of 0 with square brackets, I get apple. Then same way, fruits of 1 gives me banana and fruits of 2 it gives me mango. So always remember the first item of a Python list is at index 0. Next, Python lists are mutable. So this is simply means that we can change the items inside a list after creating it. So let's say our first list contains apple, banana and mango. And I want to replace banana with orange. So banana is at index 1. So I write it as fruits of 1 in square brackets is equal to orange, which is to be replaced. So orange will be replaced with the index 1. Which one? So banana is at index 1. So now when I print the list again, banana will be replaced by the orange. So whenever you want to update an item, simply use its index and assign the new value. Next, let's learn how to add new items to a list. We can use methods like append and insert. The append method adds a new item to the end of the list. So here, when I use fruits dot append of mango, so mango is added at the end. So, but if I want to add an item at a specific position, that's where the insert is useful. Here, fruits dot insert of 1 comma and orange we will write. So it adds the orange at the index 1. So remember, use append to add an item at the end and insert to add an item at the specific position. Just like we can add items, we can also remove them. The remove method, it removes an item by its value. So for example, fruits dot remove of banana. It removes the first occurrence of banana from the list. The pop methods, on the other hand, it removes an item using its index and also it returns the removed item. For example, fruits dot pop of 1. It removes the item at index 1. So, use remove when you know the value you want to delete and use pop when you know its index. So sometimes we need to work with every items in a list. Instead of assessing each item separatively, we can use a for loop. Here we have apple, banana and mango in our fruits list. So when we write for fruit in fruits and print fruit, Python goes through the list of one item at a time and prints each fruit. So we can also loop using indexes with the range and length. So loops are very useful when we have a large list because we don't have to write a separate code for every time. Python also provides many useful built-in functions and methods for working with lists. Length. It tells how many items are in the list, like length. So sort. It arranges the items in ascending order. Reverse. Reverse means it reverses the current order of the list. Count. It tells how many times a particular value appears. And index. It helps us to find the position of an item. These methods make working with lists much easier and helps us to write cleaner code. So before we continue, let's look at some common mistakes beginners make while working with lists. The first mistake is using an index that doesn't exist. So remember, if a list has 3 items, its indexes are 0, 1 and 2. So trying to access index 3 will cause an index error. Another common mistake is forgetting that indexing starts from 0. We should also be careful when modifying a list while looping through it because some items may be skipped. So understanding these small mistakes will save you a lot of debugging time as you practice. So now let's understand list with a simple real life example. So imagine you're going for a shopping. You have a shopping list containing milk, bread and eggs. So in Python, we can store all these items inside one list. If we remember that we also need apples, we can use append to add apples to our list. So if we no longer need bread, we can use remove to remove it. We can also check whether milk is available in our list. And finally use sort to organize all the items. So this is a simple example of how Python list can help us to organize and manage the real world data. So before we finish, here's a quick look at some important list methods. Append, that adds an item at the end. Insert, it adds an item at a specific index. Remove, it removes a specific value. And while pop, it removes the item using its index. So clear, it removes all the items from the list. And next is index. It finds the position of an item. And then count. It counts how many times an item appears. And then sort means it sorts the list. So don't worry about memorizing everything immediately. So the more you practice these methods, the easier they will become. So great job, you have now learned the basics of Python list. Today we learn what a list is, how to create a list, how to access, modify the items, and how to add and remove the items. We also learned about loop through list and use useful methods like sort, count, and index. And finally, we saw how lists can be used in real life shopping list example. So the best way to master list is by practicing. So try creating your own list and experimenting with these methods. So if you have liked this Python series, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Code with Akshi, and follow along with the next lesson. So keep practicing, keep coding. I will see you in day 10. And this code is for you. Happy coding.